Glitter Budget with your hosts, Ann Jeanette.
And Jess.
And in today's episode, we are concluding our family fun animated movie fest.
Yep.
With the movie Anastasia, which is not a Disney movie.
No.
I mean, maybe I'm just confused and thinking that a lot of people thought it was. Like, I knew it wasn't because the animation is very different.
It's drastically different.
And it's, I think, the first 20th Century Fox
Yes. Animated film.
animated film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got like a long...
It is a star-studded cast.
Yes. So, first of all, it was directed by Don Bluth and Gary Goldman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Written by Susan Gauthier, Bruce Graham, Bob Zudiker, sorry if I mispronounced that, Noni White, and the animation was adapted by Eric Tuchman. And the stars include Meg Ryan as the voice of Anastasia, John Cusack as the voice of Dimitri, Kelsey Grammer as the voice of Vladimir, Christopher Lloyd as the voice of Rasputin, Hank Azaria as the voice of Bartok, Bernadette Peters as the voice of Sophie, and Kirsten Dunst as the voice of young Anastasia, and last but certainly not least, Angela Lansbury as the Dowager Empress Marie.
Damn!
Holy fuck nuts. So, star-studded, to say the least.
Yeah.
I believe this was the first movie that Angela Lansbury had lent her voice to, so this is pre-Mrs. Potts.
Yeah.
And, it was right out, no, it was not the first one, because she was in The Last Unicorn.
That's right. Yeah.
As, the fucking witch hag lady. Fucking.
Oh, mama, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mama.
That
something.
bitch.
That bitch, yes. So she was in that first, and then she was the Dowager Empress.
Okay.
But what I find interesting in this animation is that they made the characters kind of look like the actors playing them, for the most part. Excepting Bernadette Peters and Kelsey Graham. Obviously, they look much more heavy set than what they actually were. Actually, Bernadette Peters was kind of upset that her character was so heavy set because she was actually quite trim.
Listen, it's fictional characters.
Fictional characters. But yeah, so this is they take the story of the Romanov family, which I don't just did the research on this.
Yeah.
She did the quote research on this.
Basically, there was an uprising, and the royal family was fucking slaughtered. In a very brief nutshell. Yeah, it was the last
Tsar of Russia.
Yeah, it was like basically the last royalty, essentially. But something along those lines. Yeah, basically, though, I don't know what happened. I don't know who pissed off who, but there was an uprising, and the royal family was overthrown, and the entire family, including Anastasia, was fucking slaughtered. Yeah, nobody lived.
In the movie, they don't quite explain very well why there was an uprising. They're all like really cool with Tsar Nicholas, and then all of a sudden they're like tearing down his statue. The family has to try to escape. And so I guess this movie is kind of like a what if one of the family members had survived, other than the Dowager Empress. I don't know if she actually survived in real life too, but she was the grandmother of Anastasia.
Right.
In this movie, anyway. I don't know.
There were like, from what I gathered, a lot of similarities to like the real family. So like, there was a couple different like portraits in the movie that were real in real life. Like one of the characters in the movie has a dog that was real. Like there was a couple of like similarities. The music box was real.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of like overlapping.
Yeah, I guess the
themes.
music box in real life, I think it was silver, and there was a ballerina instead of green and gold with like a couple dancing. And the picture that someone had said to Anastasia that it looked like it was someone riding a pig riding a donkey or something like that.
Oh yeah, that was real.
That was real. I guess that was they took that from like I think one of Anastasia's diaries or something like that. But
yeah, all right. So I know I've seen the movie once when I was very very young. I unfortunately did not get a chance to rewatch it. Um,
because what she had found out is that this movie, just we don't really cover this later, but this movie it was available to watch through HBO. So if you don't already have HBO, you needed to get
a
a
free
trial.
it offered you like the 7-day free trial, which never turns out to be just 7 days. Like you get suckered in and you forget to cancel it, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But it had no option to pay to rent.
Yeah.
So, and my mistake of like waiting to the very last second because it's been a crazy fucking couple weeks.
It has. That's a story for another day. But
So I didn't get around to it. So I remember that there's the bat, and that's about it. But I also wonder though, what was their catalyst to be like, hey, there's this royal family that was like horribly slaughtered during an uprising. Let's make a fucking family movie out of it.
I don't know. Well, it's kind of like we always complain about there's never any original stories anymore. So they kind of, like we said, took a what if
Yeah.
and made something of, which I think is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of take that story any which way. Like you could make several different what if stories just based off of anyone from the Romanov family surviving,
True.
or just a story based off of Rasputin, because there are so many stories.
Yeah.
A lot of random legends and myths around Rasputin, whether or not like he was immortal and shit like that.
Yeah.
They actually bring that up in Buffy a couple times.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it was interesting the fact that they got like that whole fucking cast. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, very impressive.
They had interesting, like I said, they had an interesting animation style. I have it on DVD, so I was able to watch it, and I also have HBO, so I would have been able to watch it either way.
She just has all the things.
I'm sorry. That's like the benefit of dating someone who works for Comcast.
Wow. Wow.
Sorry, I love you. Anyway, so yeah, what I noticed upon this time
Go-around.
watching, this
Yeah.
go around, is that like there's like a makeup technique where you want the eyes to be kind of like highlighted, you want the eyes to appear very bright, and they did that like almost like in a weird way with Anastasia. So like anytime they showed her face,
Yeah.
it almost looked like it had a very weird spotlight just on her eyes, like as if she was looking through some kind of visor or something to like light up her eyes and around that area. So like it almost looked like she had like a shadow over her forehead and from like the nose down, but her eyes were bright.
Huh.
It's like it's not like blatant,
Yeah.
but it was noticeable enough that every time they showed her face, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like what is this? But I found was very interesting. There is a bat.
Which I thought was odd.
Hank
Why?
Azaria plays the voice of Bartok, the bat, and if you Hank Azaria does so many voices
Yeah.
in The Simpsons, and he's done just a lot of voice work in general throughout all these different animated films and shows and all that kind of stuff. And he's done a lot of like actual like in person, like it's actually him acting. One of our favorites is The Birdcage.
Oh yeah.
So he is
Ah.
he's got an eclectic
Yes, he does.
resume, and he's very good at voices. So why there was a bat, we don't know. Jess was saying that it should have been more on the nose and then been a bear.
And why not a bear? I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that there probably are bats in Russia, but like I don't think of a fucking bat
But
like
a bat is easier to, move about than a bear.
whatever.
They had to go to the underworld where Rasputin was.
They
Or
did.
limbo. Whatever. I don't know. But it's just, it was funnier with a bat.
All right, I'll give you that. Probably was.
Yes, exactly. So we have bats in the last two of our films.
I
Fern
think there's a
Gully,
theme.
there is a theme. Yes, we like bats. But so Hank Azaria plays Bartok the Bat, which I remember getting a bunch of Bartok things as a child. So like when this movie came out in 97. So I don't know, I think McDonald's had Anastasia toys that they would put in the Happy Meals, and they also had like toys that you would get at like Toys R Us or whatever. But I remember having a Bartok stuffed animal that when you squeezed, he would say like the different things
Oh,
that he would
really?
say. Yeah, so he would say like Mayday, Mayday, stress, it's a killer, and stuff like
That's
that.
awesome.
And he had his nephew Izzy who keeled over mid mango. I give you a ha and a ha yeah.
I'm just gonna let you just keep going.
And
I'm
I
getting like all the movie right here.
and I'd geekers. So yeah, he had a lot of good lines. I think he kind of like Batty. He stole the movie.
Yeah.
And then Puka the dog. I did like the dog, but there was also kind of like why the dog pretty much is the only reason why Anastasia found her way to St. Petersburg to find Dmitri
Okay. So like
and
I was gonna say, so
Vladimir.
give me like the lowdown on this, right? So like uprising happens, family slaughtered, she somehow makes it out, and then what?
Okay, so
Like does she come back
uprising
with an army and take it back?
no.
Well, that's sad.
Uprising happens. So you have the Dowager Empress, so Angela Lansbury's character, and you
Mm-hmm.
have young Anastasia. They are they escape through like a hidden door that Dimitri, he was working for the family as like a cook or something like that as a child. So he helped them escape through the servants' quarters, essentially.
Okay.
So Dowager and young Anastasia, they end up getting to a train station, so they're trying to escape through there. Dowager gets on the train, ends up like kind of like a Jack and Rose situation, like they'll let go and then they let go.
Ah.
And she is just shown passed out. So somehow, like I don't know if she sustained like a brain injury or something when she fell because she does not remember her past. So she it then they it 10 years pass. She grew up in an orphanage. She does not remember her past. The only thing that she has that she like grew up with in the orphanage was this necklace that went to the music box.
Okay.
And on the back it says "Together in Paris," which that's what the Dowager gave her when they were having like their 300th anniversary party at the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
So that's the only thing that she has. So she, I guess at this point she's 18, so she's allowed to leave the orphanage, and she is try to figure out where her family is. I guess her plan is to go to Paris, and that's what on the road to wherever the fuck she's going, she meets Puka. Puka leads her to St. Petersburg, where Dmitri and Vladimir are.
Hmm.
So that's John Cusack and Kelsey Grammer. They are both con men, essentially. Like they are trying. They know at this point the Dowager Empress she has a reward because there's a rumor going around that young Anastasia is still alive, so she is the last of the Romanovs, and so there's a reward for bringing her back in,
Hmm.
10 million rubles, I believe. So Dmitri and Vladimir have this plan that they are auditioning for Anastasia. So Anastasia is trying to get to Paris through St. Petersburg. Doesn't realize that she needs traveling papers.
Yeah.
She's told to go to this old palace, which was the palace that she grew up in, but it's now in disrepair and abandoned. And that's where Vladimir and Dmitri are kind of like living out of, like they're squatting there.
Oh.
So she finds them, and they're like, "Hey, you kind of." They hook up in a way where like we're gonna pass you off as Anastasia. Like she doesn't know that they're con men,
Okay. Gotcha.
so she thinks that they're going to help her get reunited with her family. So she fully believes that she's Anastasia. They, quote, believe it too. They don't know for
Gotcha.
sure, but they believe it. And then she, in being with them, she eventually like starts, her memories start coming back and whatever.
Hmm.
And yeah, so once she kind of fully realizes that, when she starts getting more and more memories back, she realizes that she actually is, it might be true.
Yeah.
Rasputin, who has been in limbo this entire time, awakens in some way because he sold his soul in order to try to kill the last of the Romanovs for whatever reason. I don't know why. They don't really make that clear. But he wakes up from limbo through this little vial type thing of green evilness. He comes back and he's trying to kill her. What that's going to do for him, I don't know. He
Yeah,
can
I'm
finally
like,
like
all
move
right.
on or whatever. There's a lot of things in this
It seems
movie
like
I
a lot
don't
of
quite
plot
understand.
holes.
It possibly is. But the main thing is he sold his soul to, in order to try to have whatever powers to kill all the Romanov family. So the only reason he hasn't moved on from limbo is because there's one left. Anastasia.
That bitch.
That bitch. Exactly. So that's why he's allowed to come back topside, because there's still one left. So he's made it the rest of his life's mission to kill her. And
All
throughout
right.
this, Anastasia and Dimitri start falling in love and blah blah blah. And um she eventually learns that he was a con man because the Dowager, like, it's been God knows how long where people are coming in claiming to be
Oh,
Anastasia
yeah. So I'm sure she could pick
because
it
they
up
want
from a mile
money.
away.
So she's just like, you know what, I'm done. Like, I'm old. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm not going to see any more people claiming to be Anastasia. And it's at this point because they eventually make it to Paris. And Sophie, who is voiced by Bernadette Peters, she is, I forget how, in what relation she is to the Dowager, but Vladimir, Kelsey Grammer's character, those two have like a thing, Vladimir and Sophie.
Ah,
So he's like, okay, we'll get to Sophie. She'll be able to, like, we vet you to her, and then she'll show you to the Dowager.
gotcha.
So Sophie asks all these questions. She even asks, like, so Anastasia answers all the questions correctly because she had been tested
Prepped.
the entire time,
Yeah.
prepped and everything. And Sophie's got one last question, and it's like, well, how did you escape? And Anastasia, that's when she remembers, okay, well, like, there was some boy that opened a wall and we escaped through there. And that's when Dimitri realizes, holy shit, that's really her. That's
Right.
what I did, because that boy was me.
Right.
So later on, he's trying to plead to the Dowager, like saying, no, no, for real. He's like, that's her. But Anastasia overhears the Dowager saying, like, I heard about you. You're a con man, and you were auditioning people to be Anastasia to come and try to claim your reward money.
Yeah.
So Anastasia kind of like swears him off. It's like, fuck you, I'm done with you. But Dowager and Anastasia end up like reuniting. They realize, okay, this really is you. It really is me. Blah 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 blah. Dimitri does not end up taking the reward money and just kind of tries to go about his own way. The Dowager's like, I don't know if you want to, like, to Anastasia's like, we're finally reunited, but I don't know if you want to live here, because it seems like you kind of don't.
Right.
Because, like, for 10 years you grew up in like an orphanage. This is like a whole big new world for you, but it's up to you. You do whatever you want. And Anastasia tries going after Dmitri. They have to defeat Rasputin, and then, you know,
They live happily ever after? Do they, like, what?
yeah, kinda, I guess. Like, they defeat Rasputin by like crushing that vial thing. They end up being together, and it's weird. So she ends up not being with the dowager.
Okay. So like
But there was supposed to be like
what?
a whole big party involved because they found Anastasia. I don't know. It just there are parts that they glance over certain things, and you're like, oh, okay, and then
So like she did this whole spiel of like, hey, I'm gonna give you a shit ton of money if you find like this chick, and then they find her, and then she's like, if you want to leave, you can leave. I mean, now that I know that you're alive and where you are,
pretty much
like, what?
it's a little weird. And then they you know they had a party in her honor. The fact that they found Anastasia
But to what end? For what
to
purpose? Just
to
to say,
nothing, I
ha!
guess.
You
Yeah,
didn't off the whole family?
I guess so. There's no, I don't
Sounds like a
understand
very
it.
weird movie.
It is very weird, and the music is awful.
Is
The songs, I was just like, they kind of went on for like a little too long. They weren't catchy, and it's weird. It was weird. But what I thought, like, is semi-related, but like, so I get distracted when I'm watching a movie or watching literally anything. Like, I'll pause it if I have to go and like pee or grab something
yeah.
to eat, and then I'll check my phone. And I was just like, oh, let me check TikTok. The first video that came up was the song that Anastasia sings about like something about the past. Anyway, she sings a song, and so it was like literally right after I listened to that song, I'm opening TikTok and that fucking song is playing, and I was like,
Big Brother's listening.
it's fucking. I really wish the NSA would just back the fuck off. I'm tired of it. Okay, I don't need you interfering with my shit. Just stop it.
It's never gonna stop.
I know
Just
it's
get
not.
used to it. I mean, at this point, like,
What are you cozy with yours? Do you
I mean,
like?
at this point, yeah, if I'm trying to figure something out, I'm like, man, I saw that article the other day. I just start talking about it a lot, and eventually, it's gonna show up in my newsfeed or something. Eventually, usually within the hour.
I don't like that you're using it to your advantage.
Listen, if it's gonna be there, I'm gonna fucking get something out of it. All right, like
It's creepy.
a little bit.
I don't like it. I don't like it. Not one bit. Not one bit.
Well, I don't know. If they're gonna be up in my shit, I'm gonna make them work for it.
I see your point, but at the same time, it just freaks me out. And
It is creepy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's a creep factor to it, but you know,
but anyway, yeah. So the music, I don't think is good.
so I feel like I didn't really miss out on much. Like I'm not really feeling any kind of sadness or like I missed out on this great movie. So what I'm hearing is Ferngully was far superior. That's what I'm hearing right now.
It definitely is.
Okay.
It definitely is. Like, I think that it's no offense to the story of Anastasia and 20th Century Fox and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like this
Didn't
Bartok is the best part.
didn't hit the mark.
It didn't. It had a very good cast.
It's a star-studded cast. Doesn't always mean it's gonna be a great movie.
This is true because I feel like once you actually watch it with adult eyes, you're kind of like you ask a lot of questions and you're like, not too many things are lining up and they don't quite make sense.
Yeah. Like I said, it doesn't really sound like it has like a purposeful ending. You know what I mean? Like at the end of Ferngully, they stopped the rainforest from being destroyed, and you had somebody that was in the logging field that was like, "Hey, like I'm gonna stand up to this now, like no more."
Yeah.
So like it had like a tied up ending, like a purpose. This doesn't. It sounds like we were just like we had a plot, but we didn't know where the plot was going or what the point of it is.
I feel like it just leaves a lot of unanswered questions. Like, I guess if you want to focus on the fact that, like, she was looking for her family, she found her family, but then also found love, romantic love. It makes no sense. I would just be like, why can't you just stay
yeah.
with me? I don't know. it just not a lot of it made sense, and I didn't quite understand. But I think if you're going to watch it, Bartok is kind of sort of worth it.
Fair
Doesn't
enough.
get nearly as much screen time as I think he should. He ends up with a happy ending. He gets a pink bat at the end.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so he ends up finding love, just like Anastasia and Dimitri found love. Puka gets a home. I guess Vladimir and Sophie, I think, probably ended up together.
All right. So
But
there's some,
their whole thing was that they were gonna try to get the reward money. Dimitri turns down the reward money. Vladimir's cool with it because I guess he
what?
gets Sophie.
Well, I mean,
I guess as
people
long as
do
you,
dumb shit for Poon. Like, I don't
yeah,
know.
if you get your dick wet, it's fine. I don't know.
I feel like we're probably overanalyzing this children's movie way too much.
You're you're not wrong,
Like,
but I just don't understand.
and unfortunately, I have no like. Oh well, maybe. Or no, you missed like this one small line of dialogue that explained this because I didn't watch it, so I'm of no help.
Well, no, I watched it. I was fully there. I was invested, but I didn't get it. And like I said, the you know the songs didn't help. They did the stand for the most part, which was like the standard back in the day, back when like at least in the 90s and everything like that. The speaking voices and the singing voices were voiced by two different people,
Yeah,
so that they did have a different singing. So it's not Meg Ryan singing. That's not John Cusack singing.
I can't picture that either one of them would be very good singers.
I don't think. No. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
But they Fox did have to do some convincing to get Meg Ryan to do the part.
Yeah, I saw that.
They had to take like clips, audio clips of her in Sleepless in Seattle and like animated a bit using like Anya's animation, and then she could be like, "Oh, okay, yeah." She's like, "Yeah, I guess I look good in animated form."
Oh my god. Whatever.
So I think it's kind of ridiculous.
It really is. That is outlandish.
Yeah, but I think that was like her first, obviously her first animated film that she did. So it's a little weird. I can understand trying to like act when you're just like in a sound booth,
Yeah. I guess.
but Jesus.
What is happening over there with that mic?
My mic does not want to sit still. I think I have to like adjust it because
Mm.
it's like loose as fuck.
What was it doing before the show? No, I'm kidding.
She was getting ready.
Yeah.
You know, lubing up.
On that note.
On that note, if you have HBO or if you have the DVD, you can watch Anastasia.
Yep.
By 20th Century Fox.
Yep.
Quick sidebar on that. I remember when the millennium turned and there was some fool that tried to he bought the name 21st Century Fox because he thought that 20th Century Fox would change their name to 21st Century,
Wow.
and he wanted them to pay him for the name. It's like, why would they change their whole everything?
Wow.
I don't know if that's a real story, but I remember someone saying that back in the day. What was
I could
20
see somebody
years
doing it.
ago? Oh God, 20 years ago.
Yeah, we're old.
Holy fuck. Oh God.
Yep.
Let's move on. So
Christmas. Sorry.
Christmas. Christmas. So we'll be doing Christmas movies next, which apparently that's a theme. That's a genre of movie, but not Halloween movies.
All right. I knew this was coming.
I have been compiling a list
Ah.
of Halloween movies. Just that you, our gentle viewers, are aware. And you, my not so gentle
Listen,
co-star.
I am probably wrong, but this is gonna be one of those few times where I'm like, I'm not. I know I am.
But you're not going to back down.
Yep.
This is the hill you choose to die on.
Yep. I don't know why, but this is it.
There are plenty of better hills that have more sturdy foundation that you could die on.
Yep.
But this is it.
Yep.
Because you're just stubborn as fuck.
Yes.
And you don't want to admit that you're wrong.
Yes.
Okay.
Just like I'm that small group of people that insist Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I know it's not, but I'm going to say that it is.
I feel like that's more understandable than this. Okay.
Anyways, so what movies are we discussing next month for Christmas?
That's an excellent question because we haven't even discussed that yet.
So I was thinking,
Oh God.
aside for Die Hard, it's a Christmas story. It's a classic.
Yeah, I guess.
Jingle All the Way. And Santa Claus.
Jingle All. That's an Arnold Schwarzenegger one, right?
Yeah. It's hilarious.
I feel like there are plenty of Christmas movies that we could be watching.
Like
but I'll
what?
agree on the Santa Claus. I like the Santa Claus. That one's a good one.
Like what?
Literally any of them. All the old fucking felt ones.
The felt what? What does that even mean?
Remember? Okay, so he did all the people that did Flight of Dragons. He did Last
Oh,
Unicorn.
I'm not watching that shit.
That shit.
I'm not watching it. No. I'm not doing it.
Wow.
It's really aggressive. I'm sorry.
It is aggressive.
I couldn't stand those movies.
I feel like we lost the 4 followers that we had.
Possibly. I don't know, like the Frosty the Snowman and all that shit. Like, oh, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that one instead of Jingle All the Way.
Fuck yeah.
The original How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Not the fucking Jim Carrey one.
You don't like that one?
No. I don't. It didn't need to be remade. The original was fucking perfect. It was a classic. It didn't need. No. I've only watched it like maybe once.
Oh. I don't know why. Do we purposefully do this every time where we get into a fight?
No,
Do we
this
do
is
the-
just us.
Okay.
I'm not sorry about it either. Like that's definitely all right. That's the hill that I choose to die on. Like I'm not backing down from that one. I love the original. It's a classic. It was a part of my childhood, and you know how I feel when people try to remake pieces of my childhood.
Do I?
Yeah, I don't fucking appreciate it.
Okay. So, tune in next week for Christmas movies, which she has conceded that Halloween movies are also a thing.
Fuck.
She's no longer on that hill. She's on a different hill.
All right, you know what? Moving on.
Christmas movies next week. We're starting with God knows what fucking one. If you
To be
like our
continued.
vibe.
Please like and subscribe.
All of our social medias we linked in the description box down below. We'll see you in our next one. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.